Hello, this is CJ Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana, across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. I'm on the balcony of my apartment, and so here I am with my aloe vera plant, whose name is Steve, and he's got some additions, and I'll get in and talk about that. So this is going to be an installment of the Aloe Vera Saga, the segment of videos I call the Aloe Vera Saga. So primarily, who's been here has been this aloe in the very center, uh, who I've named Steve. Today I went with some friends. We went to hang out. With some like-minded fellow travelers at a place near Longview, Texas called Lake of the Pines. And then a few of us broke away and decided to go into Jefferson, Texas and we ended up having some barbecue and some plants. I mean, yeah, there's plant shops and everything, agriculture shops all over the place in downtown Jefferson, Texas, but also um, a lot of antique shops and everything. A lot of small little towns, uh, you know, uh, that have like maybe like a town common. They have a lot of antique shops. Um, we have a lot of antique shops in Shreveport, but due to we had a major shift in the 1980s where a lot of our business, except for corporate business, but a lot of our uh, the corporate business remained, offices, banks, that kind of stuff. But a lot of retail business left the area and went to the shopping malls and the shopping centers and kind of left the nucleus of downtown. And that happened uh, in the mid 1980s. And that happened really across the country as culture shifted. And since that time, and it's 2024 now, we have uh, a few knickknack art shops, kind of things like that. We're kind of redeveloped into kind of an art zone. Uh, some casino, the corporate business offices, and of course the government offices are down here. Uh, some restaurants and eateries, but then the rest of it, there's a lot of residential, uh, you know, that's going on down here that actually kind of saves downtown Shreveport from being the ghost town that it was on track to be. And I guess uh, that turnaround started to happen in the early 1990s, where we started to see uh, community reinvent itself in downtown. Because before then, uh, it was what used to be a lot of department stores. The buildings are still down here. What used to be Sears used to be uh, Woolworths, Selber's. A lot of department stores. It used to be quite fashionable to go uh, put on your coats and hats and go to town. Some of the older people, I should say. I don't think they're very old. I'm in my 50s now, so who the hell am I talking about old, right? But some of the older people still make reference to taking the trolley into town. They still call the bus system the trolley because there used to be a trolley, which was an electric car on rails, the same as a streetcar trolley, uh, and yeah, but. But it used to be quite a chic thing to do. And so we don't have the department stores down here, but we do have a way for kind of an art scene, chic kind of thing for people to come for that. But aside from that, yes, we do want business, and there are businesses down here and everything like that, but it's very artistic. I'm catching my reflection in the window there. That's great. So, yeah. Okay, This Steve is the name of the plant. And so I have a small pot that I found where uh, this aloe here and this aloe here were right next to each other, and they were growing really close. And then this plant was right in the mix. And this is a snipping off of that was kind of bending and kind of breaking. So I took a snipping and put them in, as I kind of used the same soil that Steve was already using. Uh, and I didn't disturb Steve's root system, but I kind of went under it and kind of stirred the soil that was around the outside. So we got like a resettlement of redistribution, and could create pockets within the soil for these new placements. And because what I could see was the overcrowding is what I think was causing. When you see, there's always going to be some specks, you know, that can be indicative of something going wrong with the plant. But when your leaves are this spotted, maybe, and mine, have a tendency, mine go there, Uh, so even then, it's like, hey, what is going on? That my leaves get too spotted or whatever, and so I didn't know. Had I overwatered? Had I nutriated? I know at one point I did take Steve outside and I let him sit in the sun in the hotter part of in the day for too long, and he got a sunburn or whatever. So anyway, the whole idea here, and these plants, these additions, 1, 2, and 3 of them were already having good root systems. Both of these had fully formed root systems that were entwined, but they did well. I was able to just take them apart from each other, and they each had individual root systems. And this guy here, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 stalks and a twig, and then there is on the far side. Do I want to say? Where are we? Yes, a smaller little, and so these 4 little things, the 2 bigger ones and little ones, they were in the same pot. This one I was wondering because he was starting to get some brown. So I'm going to come and clip these brown uh, bits off of the top of these leaves with some shears that I have, because that can't be good. Uh, and maybe clipping off some of the oldness will kind of help this, because it did have a root system forming. So we'll see. And then yeah, well, you see here this leaf. This is an example of what happened when I left Steve outside for too long. So and I've read, I've studied, and it's really okay to plant them together, and they really do well together. Plants really do well together. Uh, but you see the crowdedness, how these leaves are all crowded and bunched up and everything. And that's good that they support each other in that way. And I kind of want them to support each other. But all that in one pot was a little bit too much. Uh, so we shall see. And even at that, uh, you know, what I've done, stirring up, is I uh, nutriated. I put some plant food in the soil, and then re-moistened the topsoil with dissolved Miracle Grow, basically, in water, and probably just over a cup, and poured over the top of it in various parts. But even then, this does not feel like it doesn't feel like drowned out soil or anything like that. So I feel it's good, and I feel like I'm going to be able to take this and put it in the windowsill inside of his on the desk where he goes normally. Leave him alone, uh, Steve, and uh, Steve 2, Steve 3, Steve 4, and then Steve 5 will be on the far side. And then I don't know if this twig here turns into something. Uh, this leaf that I've snipped off, if that turned into something. And it did come off of a plant that did well, uh, and propagated some other things well. So if that's the case, then uh, and it makes it and it joins, then that's wonderful. I've tried to propagate before and did not have success because I took the leaf and tried to put it into the soil, and then I tried to put it in water directly, and then turns out nope, they don't have to be drowned. So I tried to put it in some soil, and I don't know, maybe it just wasn't. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't do it properly. But either way, this plant and this plant, they're both about the same size that Steve was when I first uh, brought him home. If you'll remember, you can go back and look from, last July. So I've had Steve for about a year, you know. Uh, so we'll see. And yeah, and then like I said, I've read, and everybody says these plants do really really well, growing in close proximity to each other. They support each other's systems, and they trade off vibes and everything like that. Now it's time for me to take it inside, let it sit, let it recover from any sort of shock. But then I hope that you know the vibrations of my voice that this plant has spent a year being familiar with, because plants are sensitive to vibration. You know, they don't necessarily have like emotion, but they sense vibration, and in that vibration, it is a familiar, comfortable vibration, or it is an alien, alarming vibration. And they react pleasingly to the vibration, or they react, uh, you know, negatively uh, to the vibration. And while that may not be a specific human emotion that we interpret it as far as happy or sad, it's still a physical reaction, which is in the positive direction of positive plant health or negative plant health. And I can't help but feeling that a healthier plant is a plant's version of a happier plant, because with humans, we're all tied in together, our emotions and our physical well-being and everything. So with that being said, wish us luck with this next uh, Aloe Vera season 2 of the Aloe Vera saga. Love and light. Peace. Good night.